Well, Congress just did something miraculous, and that was they agreed on something. Yeah, the Senate unanimously passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and President Donald Trump says that he's gonna sign it. But here's the plot twist nobody's telling you right now. The files might never actually get released. Buzzkill, right? So let's actually break down what's happening here, because this whole thing is feeling a little fishy, if you ask me. So today was a whirlwind in Washington. The Senate passed the bill to force the DOJ to release all Epstein files. We're talking the records, the communications, the investigative materials, everything short of the man's dentist appointment history. Or in other words, it's a lot of the good stuff. This is what we want in on, right? Now, the House voted 427-1. The Senate passed it with 0 objections. Republicans, Democrats, independents everywhere united for one moment in time and decided we need to see what's in these files. And I hear that. So everybody basically said, let's crack open the creepiest box in American politics and see what's inside. Remember, Pandora's box, you can't close it once it's opened. And then Trump, who remember opposed this for months, suddenly flipped and said, absolutely, let's release it. Kind of gotta admit, right? That's either a little impressive or incredibly suspect. I'll let you be the judge on that one. It's kind of like watching someone go from blocking your number to like texting you, hey stranger, at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night. It doesn't quite add up, and I think somebody's trying to pull one over me. But here's where the thing gets kind of weird. Maybe shockingly weird, but also maybe predictably weird. I don't know. Because right as Trump said he'd sign the bill, he also ordered the DOJ to investigate Epstein's connections to Bill Clinton, to JP Morgan officials, and tons of other powerful people in Washington and around the world. And here's the real magic trick here, okay? If there's an active investigation currently happening, the DOJ is allowed to withhold anything that might jeopardize it. The operative word here being anything. That can literally mean anything, right? So that means essentially the bill passed and the media celebrated. I mean, we're all here for it, right? I want to see what's in those. You want to see what's in those. And more importantly, we want to see who is in these, right? So Congress right now is patting themselves on the back. They actually got something through, and both sides of the aisle finally agreed on something. And the DOJ quietly goes, oh yeah, you mean these? These files right here? Yeah, we can't release them. Ongoing investigation. Let's try again, I don't know, maybe next decade, okay? So it's kind of the governmental version of a restaurant saying, your table is almost ready, but doing it for like 5 straight hours. Like we want to sit down, we want to eat, I want to see what's in these files, okay? So let's talk about what the bill actually is forcing the DOJ to release in theory, right? This is all in theory until we actually see the proof in the pudding and they actually put something out there for us to see. So some of the things they expect: flight logs, communications, internal memos, materials tied to victims, any government officials that might be referenced, and pretty much everything around Epstein's death. So we got some good stuff in there. But then comes the myriad of different exceptions, okay? We're talking victims' identities might not be released, child materials, anything tied to a current investigation, graphic imagery, classified stuff, okay? And of course, anything the DOJ says could interfere. Seems pretty broad and convenient to me. So yeah, we might get some files, but the version we get could look like a CIA coloring book, just 400 pages of black Sharpie redacting everything. So the question now is, why did Congress do this so fast, right? We all know that bureaucracy moves at the speed of a tortoise, okay? Because politically, supporting the release is actually the safest bet in the world. And you might be thinking, why would it be the safest bet in the world? There could be a lot of incriminating stuff for a lot of very powerful people in there, specifically our sitting President Donald Trump, right? Well, it's kind of like voting in favor of puppies right now, right? Nobody wants to be the one saying, actually, I think I would prefer it if the Epstein files just stayed secret. Nobody wants that, the same way nobody wants to say no to a puppy. You say yes to the puppy. But for years, everybody was doing exactly that. They were saying no to the Epstein Files, but now they're saying yes. So today was the first time we saw everyone panic speed this thing forward, and it's hard not to notice that it happened right after internal emails came out showing Epstein discussing Trump in 2019, saying he knew about the girls. I can only imagine what he's talking about there, right? Who knows? Now look, that's one line in one email, so we got to take it as that for now. There's no verified wrongdoing of any kind at this point in time. But Washington, as we know, as in many things in life, runs on vibes. And those vibes were strong enough to make Congress change their mind and say, okay, let's drop everything. We got to see what's in these bad boys. So pass the transparency bill before this gets actually messy. And it seems like what they're doing here. So the question now is, will these files actually ever see the light of day? We know that the big government and institutions are really good at covering up things they don't want John Q. Public to see. So here's my prediction on what's going to happen here. We're going to get something, okay? A preview, a sampler platter, if you will. I don't think we're going to get the big juicy stuff. I think they're going to be holding that under wraps, because the full unedited archive, I got a feeling that has got some pretty damning material in there that we have big power players from around the planet who don't want that information to get out to the limelight. It makes sense, right? Nobody looks good going into this underage child sex trafficking island. So because Trump's new investigation gives the DOJ a legally airtight excuse to stall indefinitely, you got to imagine he's probably going to use that, almost definitely. He's a little batty, but he's not entirely stupid. So yes, the bill did technically pass today. Trump, he totally flip-flopped. He went from we can't ever release those, to now saying release them. But the fact of the matter was, he really didn't have much of a choice, because again, you can't be the one person saying, I don't like puppies, and you can't be the person saying, I don't want to see what's in the Epstein files. You say that, it's pretty much an admission of guilt, basically. So the big story here isn't that the files are actually coming out, it's that we are watching here another political magic show before our eyes. Donald Trump is the ultimate showman. Look over here. Look at the Epstein files. Look what's going on here. Look at my hand. Something else is going on here, right? So the real trick that we're seeing here aren't the ones that were happening on the island themselves. We're talking about the misdirection play we're seeing right now. This story, my friends, isn't going anywhere. The Epstein files are not a one-day headline. They are a political pressure cooker, and we are seeing the heat dialed up pretty high right now. I got a feeling a lot of people in big business and government are going to start to sweat. And if the DOJ drops anything meaningful, I'm going to break it down here the second it hits. I'm Hank. Thanks for watching Why It's Trending Daily, and we'll see you tomorrow.